Hi, welcome to my channel Cloud with Girish. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop EC2 instances using Event Bridge and Lambda function on scheduled time. With Cloud, initiating EC2 instances to host and run your application is super easy. You need these instances for your development, testing, production, failover, disaster recovery, proof of concept, and many other reasons, unless you are 100% dedicated to serverless architecture and development. Over the period, company may spin on hundreds of EC2 instances and the cost will add up. With this ease comes the shared responsibility model of AWS Cloud. Customer is responsible to pay for the cloud resources being consumed. FinOps, as you hear, is becoming very popular. One of the best practices to understanding usage and cost of your cloud resources. Let's discuss this in the context of hundreds of EC2 instances you may have. You have to analyze if you really need all EC2 instances 24/7. Likely scenario is that your analysis will lead to data points that you need specific instances for a specific duration or within certain days and time periods. Let's look at our business use case. Our business use case is to stop the EC2 instances with a tag of gbdev at 6 p.m. Eastern every Friday. The second use case is start the EC2 instance with a tag of gbdev at 6 a.m. Eastern every Monday. In this workshop, I will show you how to stop EC2 instances with a tag of gbdev. I will use AWS Event Bridge, AWS Lambda with Python Boto3 library to accomplish this function. In next workshop, I will show you similar function for the starting the EC2 instances. Let's look at the architecture design. We have two architecture pattern here. The first one is the use case 1. We have Event Bridge scheduler that is invoking a Lambda function. Lambda function has the code to stop the EC2 instance by the tag using the Python Boto3 library. With this function, any EC2 instance that has the specified tag will be stopped, and Lambda function will also log the activity in the CloudWatch log. The second architecture diagram here is very similar, with the exception that Event Bridge scheduler is invoking another Lambda function, which is to start the EC2 instance by a specific tag, and same actions are taking place where EC2 instances with that specified tag will be started by the Lambda function, and the action will be logged in the CloudWatch log. Let's look at few prereqs. Some of the prereqs are that we need to have EC2 instances with the specified tag, need the familiarity to develop and deploy Lambda function locally using AWS SAM. I will be using AWS SAM for Lambda function. However, same can be accomplished using AWS console. I already have an EC2 instance with the tag gbdev. I also have code written for Lambda function, which I will review and share with this workshop. If you want to learn about creating and testing Lambda function, please watch my video on Lambda workshop. Link is in the description for this. For Event Bridge, I will use AWS console to set up the schedule that invoke the Lambda function using a cron job pattern. Let's get started. We will review the EC2 instance with tag, we'll review the AWS SAM template, we'll review the AWS Lambda function that's written using Python Boto3 library. We will build the function locally using AWS SAM, we'll invoke the function locally using AWS SAM. I will then deploy the function in AWS Cloud. Will create Event Bridge Scheduler using AWS console. I will define a cron job pattern. Will assign the Lambda function to this scheduler. Then we'll wait for the scheduler to invoke the Lambda. Once Lambda has been invoked, we will check the before and after view of EC2 instance, and we'll also review the CloudWatch log. So let's review our EC2 instance with the tag. It's a T2 micro EC2 instance, and I have a tag defined as gbdev. Instance state, as you can see, is currently running, and it's in the US East to be availability zone. Let's look at our AWS SAM template. This is the template that we will use to build the Lambda function locally. So this is defining a function named stop EC2 by tag. There is a link to the handler. That's the code. We are using x86-64. There is a path to code URI. Runtime is Python 3.11. Timeout is 15. We have memory size 128. There is an environment variable with a tag gbdev. The advantage of this is that we can change the value of this environment variable through the console, and then we can use the same function to stop the instances for a different tag. There are some policies which provide the role to the Lambda function to stop the EC2 instance. Let's look at the Lambda function. Like I said, the function is written using Python Boto3 library. So if you see a function that's logging the event, and then it's calling a stop EC2 tag function. A stop EC2 tag function is applying a filter based on the tag to the instances and creating a list of instances. We will, in a for loop, we're gonna iterate through the instances, and for each instance, we're gonna stop the instance. Information will be logged in the CloudWatch log. Next, we're going to build this function locally using AWS SAM. AWS SAM provides standard commands. In this case, I'm simply applying SAM build. And as you can see on my screen, the function is being built locally using AWS SAM. Once the function has been built, the next command I will use is the SAM local invoke. So I'm invoking this function, and I'm providing a parameter for a environment JSON that has my tag specified. Once my function has been tested locally, I'm going to use the SAM deploy command, and this command will actually deploy my Lambda function to the AWS cloud. Once my function has been deployed, I'm going to go to AWS console, look for Event Bridge service, and I will create an Event Bridge scheduler. I'm using a cron expression here, which is going to run this function 12 a.m. 25 minutes after every day. I'm going to assign a Lambda function to this scheduler. In this case, my Lambda function is named as stop EC2 by tag. So I'm going to assign that function. And once this scheduler has been completed, I will wait for the scheduler to invoke the Lambda. Here is the results after the Lambda function was invoked by the Event Bridge. As you can see, before image of my EC2 instance, the state was running. After the function has been invoked, this instance has been stopped. If I go to CloudWatch log for this Lambda function, I will see the logs that I have logged using Lambda function logger here. is stopping the EC2 with the gbdev tag, and it's providing me the instance ID of the stopped instance. With this workshop, an Event Bridge scheduler invoking a Lambda function to stop EC2 instances have been successfully completed. Not running these instances for a time period will help in cost saving and cloud expenses. In next workshop, I will create similar solution for starting the EC2 instances at a specified schedule using Event Bridge and Lambda. Hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. I'm working on some other interesting contents on various AWS topics. These will be posted soon. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.